fighting in the car, the Facebook whistleblower. What on earth could possibly be more important than our kids? Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast. And in this series, we take a few minutes each week to look at a short, relatable idea from the Torah portion that will upgrade our weeks. One day when we were living in Vancouver, in beautiful British Columbia, I was driving my kids to school, and two of them were fighting so viciously with each other. And there I was trying to drive and trying desperately at the same time to get them to stop fighting and be kinder to each other, and failing miserably. I dropped them off at school feeling completely and utterly drained and depleted. I parked the car around the corner and I was just crying, thinking to myself, where on earth have I failed? That these two children that I had given birth to, that I was trying to raise into human beings, were being so vicious and nasty to each other. Actually, I was missing something much more important. In this week's Torah portion, we're told about Noach, and we're told a very interesting thing. We're told, Eile Toldot Noach. These are the offspring of Noah. And then it goes on to tell us about Noah, that he was a righteous person, he was pure with God. What on earth is going on? If it's telling us that these are the offsprings of Noah, then we should hear about his children. Why does it tell us about who he was as a person? Because contrary to what we think, a person's primary legacy is not our kids. It's our actions. It's our good deeds. In order to have kids, in order to raise those kids, it's a partnership with God. And the reality is that it's primarily God, because to have a child is a gift from God. And even once that child comes into our life, so much of parenting is about praying for those children. And I'll share with you a crazy story. I was once going through a particularly worrying situation with a child, where a child was exhibiting certain behaviors that worried me. It really worried me. And I was trying my best to do what I could, but I wasn't getting anywhere. And something else happened in my life that really opened my eyes to how important it was to pray. And at the same time, I thought to myself, you know what? Every night before I go to sleep, while I'm lying in bed, I'm going to say a quick prayer in my own words, asking God for his help with this particular child. And a couple of weeks later, this child came to me and told me about a breakthrough they had in that area. And I had done nothing different in my parenting. The only difference was that I had made it a focus to pray and ask God for his help for it. But when it comes to our actions, to our good deeds, that is fully in our control. But we are the ones who control our actions. It's us. And with every single action that we do, we are actually creating ourselves. And at the end of days, that is our primary legacy. I can share that as a parent, I sometimes, so much of my focus is on my kids. How are they going to turn out? And I don't think I'm alone in that. Sometimes as parents, we get so hyper-focused on our kids that we can forget that our primary area where we can control is our actions. And at the end of the day, our actions is how we create ourselves. And that's why when it's talks about Noah's offspring, before it tells us who his kids are, first it tells us his primary legacy. It tells us about the person who he was. And that we create by every single action that we do. And if you've ever doubted how much impact you can make by your actions, and I think it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking, but I'm just one person, or but I'm not that type of person. But look at what the Facebook whistleblower was able to accomplish this week. She's just one person, and yet she was able to take on the entire social media company, that giant company of Facebook, by leaking the research that shows the harm that it's doing and going all the way to the Senate about it. And she's being taken seriously. What's going to happen? Who knows? But she, one person, with her actions, is able to make a huge impact. And us too, we may be one person, but we have full control of our actions. And with our actions, we create our legacy. Now, what do you want your legacy to be? Thank you for taking the time to listen. I'd love to hear what you thought. You can get in touch with me on Instagram at Gila Ross, and please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the Power Up podcast so you don't miss our next episode.